Cooperative.
Bitters. They're not as bitter as they are in the grapes. You don't have to worry about them. And as they're crushed very thoroughly, actually it helps to extract more oil from the flesh of the olive. So then after this, you can see we have these baskets. I'll show you. So they weave these baskets from the palm tree branch fiber. So after doing this for hundreds of times, then this olive mash is simply placed inside the pocket here. Okay, and they fill about 10, maybe 15 baskets along the side of the pocket. The hole in the middle, simply as you're pressing the baskets, you're forcing the oil towards the middle and into the vat. So then, let's come over here. This is the olive press. It's interesting, Jesus talked about a millstone, right? He said, anyone who makes the little children stumble or sin or prevents them from coming to me, he said it would have been better if they tied a millstone around their neck and cast them into the deepest part of the ocean. So you can see what he's talking about. It's pretty serious. Not a flotation device. Come closer. You can see this. But if you come closer, you can see there is a collecting vat for the oil here. That's only about 2 feet deep, so it's actually quite easy to scoop up the oil after every press. So these baskets that would have been filled up with mash were placed on top of each other and pressed 3 times. So first press, they were using any weight, so just the baskets and gravity, and after about an hour or so, whatever oil seeps into the vat, that's what kind of oil? Virgin olive oil. Yeah, and it's the best kind of oil, right? The Bible simply calls it pure oil. In Exodus 25, God gave a commandment saying, take the pure oil to the temple for lighting. So this is one of the purposes that they would use the oil for, lighting the menorah, the lampstand, continuously burning in the temple. Also, we read that they have to prepare the purest anointing oil to anoint kings, priests, and prophets. So we believe this is also the kind of oil they would use mixed with different spices. So the best, the first fruits are always presented to the Lord as a sacrifice. Now, let's take a look at the second and the third press. So now we have to add on more weight, and that's where these weights come in the beam. So really heavy, but again, using leverage, we can still lift this. So you can see this drum with 2 holes, so you simply lift and then use another lever, place it inside, and you can roll it all the way up, secure it just by leaving the lever in so it don't fall back down. And then once all 3 stones are lifted, you would loosen the ropes using the pulley system up there, so just to lower the beam down. And so at the same time, this round part would press on the baskets underneath. Now, this would be tremendous pressure because let's say we have about 3,000 pounds here, roughly. So we know that by law of physics, if you're applying that much here, at this end, that weight is multiplied by about 2.5 times. So tremendous weight. We get the most oil from the second press, and it usually is used for food, medicine, perfume, and cosmetics. So all the daily needs. The third press, that's the leftovers. And to get it, that's why we have these 2 or 1 block of wood underneath the beam, because after 2 presses, the baskets shrink in size. So now we have to adjust the height of the beam. So you take 1 or several blocks out, lower the beam down, so then you press yet again, and whatever is left over, that's not the best quality oil. Usually it would have a lot of pulp. So this oil will be used for lighting oil lamps at home or making soap. Now after this, is there something left that we can still use? It's all, right? So in the basket, so you would take it outside, dry it, and this is a great source of fuel. So just to keep your house warm, it burns for a long time. You can put it in jars of clay to give you light, or they would also use it for the roof. So notice, typical first century roof would be like this. It's a mud roof. If you're wealthy enough, you can afford to have tiles. If not, a mud roof like this. So we have 3 beams in cypress tree to support the structure of the roof. Then there's a layer of reeds on top and 3 layers of mud. So the last and the first layer was a mixture of mud, gravel, cinder, limestone that's crushed, and hay. It's waterproof, but it's not concrete. So still, sometimes water finds a way, and to keep the water from getting in, the middle layer was dry soil or dry olive mash. So nothing goes to waste. And the third press, so we talked about third press. So now we've used the oil, we used the mash, and after all of this, there's still something you can use, right? Skin. Baskets, definitely, yeah. What else? You remember we gathered olives in October after rain. So whatever rain is observed in the olives, that is the moisture that stays behind. So it's sort of like a juice, and it's heavier than oil. So it's oil's on the top, and then whatever is left, that is that residue that you mix with clay and crushed limestone, and it's the plastering material for the walls. And they even say that the smell is actually a very good repellent from bugs, flies, mosquitoes, even neighbors.
Give me some.
Now, before we go, just to say this, the word olive press in Hebrew is gat shmanim. Can you say gat shmanim? Can you say Gethsemane?
Gethsemane.
See, you can see? So Gethsemane, gat shmanim, olive press. And we remember this is the garden where Jesus was praying with his disciples. This is one of his last prayers before he's on trial and he's crucified. And it's in there, remember when he's praying, he asks also the disciples to pray with him, to encourage him in prayer, to strengthen them. But remember, they were falling asleep. And it's an interesting parallel of three. It's just like the three presses. Remember, 3 times you had to go and wake them up. And he was under tremendous pressure because he knew what was going to happen. He was sweating with blood. He was under tremendous physical and psychological pressure. And it says that when he was praying, he said, Father, if you could, pass this cup of wrath over me. But now my will, he said, your will be done. And so this is what Prophet Isaiah, again in chapter 53, said, that he was crushed for our iniquities, but by his wounds we were healed. And it's an interesting parallel because we're in olive press. This is where olives are crushed and they're pressed under tremendous pressure. And we can see that Jesus went through probably something even worse when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane experience.